In this video, we're going to be looking at changing this text here in WinCC's graphics designer. We're going to be changing it to a different value using VBA. So the first thing is to make sure that we know what the object name is. So it's called text_title. And if I click this button here, it opens up the Visual Basic editor. Now I've already got some code written here, but the key things to note here when you first come in are we have a global template, which is stuff, VBA code that would affect not just this project, but other projects as well. And then we have the project template, which would just affect this project. And then lastly, any PDL documents that we have open. So in this case, we just have one called Getting References. So if I go back to my graphics designer, we can see Getting References here. So if I go back to my VBA, this one here is this document Getting References that I have open, and the VBA in here is only for that document. So what I'm doing is I'm starting with dim HMI object as HMI object. A HMI object is anything that appears on a document. So going back to our document here, Getting References, this here is a HMI object. And then we also need to declare a property because we want to be able to change a property. Now, a property is one of these items or attributes that get listed in these properties here. So if we go to the font property and have a look at attributes, we can see text and then the value change me. So going back to VBA, what I'm doing here is I am setting the HMI object, my variable HMI object, setting that to this document, so referencing the document that we're currently inside, HMI objects, and then calling it by name text title. And then once I've done that, I'm using set property, so HMI property here. I'm using set prop equals HMI object, as we've already set that previously, dot properties, and then naming it by text. So this one here should be setting our HMI object to our text title object, and then the property should be setting the property that we're working with to the text property that we want to change. And then I simply use prop.value equals sum of the text. So if I step through this by clicking play, it'll stop at the breakpoint, and then stepping through with F8, we can see that right now our HMI object is set to nothing. If I step through that, our HMI object now has a bunch of values in relating to that object, one of which is our object name. And if I go down and have a look, I can see that the object name is text title. And then if I step through again and I minimize the object, I can see that our property now has some information in it as well. So one of those things being the value, which is change me. If I now press F8 again and step through, we can see that that's changed to sum of the text. So if I go back to my graphics designer, it's then changed to sum of the text. And this is true for nearly all properties. If you just want to change the static values, so you can change background colors, you can change things like styles, anything that you can see in here for any object that can be placed on this window, including faceplates that you've made yourself. When it comes to setting dynamic stuff, it becomes a little bit more involved, but in future videos we will definitely cover that.